Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. If you have, my intention is unity and oneness. I want to just go into a little flow with the guides. I just expand into higher frequency through my heart, connecting the hemispheres of my brain. And we all can do this. I just have a different way. We all have unique ways of doing it. So we'll see. This might be wordplay, it might be light language. But my intention is just to connect in with whatever might be helpful for the collective in this now moment or whoever's watching this video. So taking a nice breath in, nice long exhale, dropping into the body. Okay, so I'm hearing the words spatial dynamics, which I've looked up before, but I can't remember what they are. So this is going to be a little warm up. We'll see if I post this or not. I can tell it's going to be a little wild ride. Some light language. Ne wa ashiki kai mahai e shinikua wa ha inititi shukuya ene. Kiwa at ish ukuahana. So I like to move energy around with my hands. Sometimes we'll yawn if we're moving energy. Sometimes we can burp, cough. All those things are just a way of kind of moving energy out of the system. Oa shinikai me it ish ukuya enene ki kai makai ish ikuahane me makut ish inike. Ua he ish unehe. And so this is considered energy work, one might say, working with the energy in the body, around the body, and the fluidity that the body is located within. We might say that the energy and the frequency within which we are all submerged creates electricity or is created from electricity. And so this electricity, this zingy, zany frequency and energy that we all have access to can be heightened at certain times. And it can be useful to plug in more at these times. And yet it is also equally useful that you utilize all of your resources that are coming in. So I'm being shown grounding, water, air, breathing, right? And it seems simple, but what my guides are showing me is a vision. And this to kind of go through that, how I'm tapping in with my guides is through a little bit of everything. I have clairvoyance where I can see, I have clairaudience where I can hear, I have clairsentient, which I think is feeling, can't remember all of it, all the clairs, and then clear knowing. So it's just I use all of those things slightly different to receive and understand and interpret the messages that are coming through. Each of you has your own gifts as well. Some muscles are stronger than others. So you could use all of them, or you might have a very strong ability to see, right? You might have a very strong ability to listen and hear. So that's just something to keep in mind. And so we are tuning in through the mind and we are utilizing all aspects of our resources. And we would invite you to do this in the physical as well, in physicality. For the reality in which you are each, again, imbued within is changing. And so you are required in some ways in order to access more. So this is a play on words. Like they're saying, we have to kind of up the ante a little bit in order to access more. But because we're accessing more, we also have to change how we interact with our environment, which means getting barefoot in the grass more often, going in the sand, actually drinking more water, getting more movement in our bodies. I'm just hearing adapt to the flow. And again, I'm seeing currency. And you guys, as I'm saying this, my arm hairs are like standing up. So we are tuning into this spatial configuration, if you will. I forgot the word I said earlier. Spatial came in and now it's gone. We are inviting you to tune into this new turn, if you will, of events. Turn the tides. For the tides have turned and many are still waiting for their boat to show up. We would invite you to navigate these waters with your own boat, the ka, the ba, all of this. I'm hearing like that Egyptian term. Is it, I think the ba is the boat, right? Ba, boat, I don't, Kaaba. We would invite you to use your boat, your vessel, your human body as a tracking device, and let us play with this to track how it is you are moving, interpreting, and engaging with these new energies. We would invite you to track your own movements, your own patterns. Pay attention. Feel how you are attracting things to you. Feel how or what it is that you are repelling away from you. Recognize that you are, I'm hearing tractor beam, the Dumb and Dumber reference, by the way. And I'm hearing play, have a sense of humor. For the spirit, our spirits delight in the senses, the sense of humor. For when you laugh, you enliven, you enlighten, you open up your track. And then as I say that, what I'm seeing is like a video track or like a music. I'm hearing musical masterpiece, but it's like a track to a movie, right? And you open up to more songs, essentially. It allows you to let go of the one track mind and tune into the many tracks inside the body, in the heart, the brain, the cells, the mitochondria, the blood, the bones, the vessel that you are commandeering, if you will. Okay, that's a play on words. Commandeering. Ya shuku ye mahai shi kwahe nini kuku I nini aha ni shu ye ya makai ni kika ish ik ehe kwa ini. We speak in these tones, which are ancient tones, yet they are also future tones. They are the tones of what or similar to what many of you may speak in the future or have spoken in the past. For many of you hear this and think, wow, that sounds like something I know. That sounds like something I've heard before, because you have known it before, you have heard it before, and some of you have spoken it before, or similar tunes, if you will, similar currencies have flown through you before. And while you may have flown that coop before, we would invite you to hatch and be a new hatchling. Allow yourself to explore. Allow yourself to feel what it feels like to be the butterfly just released from the cocoon. We invite you to recognize that you are and will be and are and will be all that and more. We invite you to feel into the lightness of being. And I'm seeing this butterfly, like butterfly kisses, butterfly wings. We invite you to seed your future. We invite you to see the future that you have seeded. And we invite you to see the future that those who came before you have seeded before. We would invite you to see that the door has been opened to your future, and we are peering back at you from that space. For we are connected to you through you as future beings of you. Many of you are asking questions and seeking answers, and yet you are not looking within. We would invite you to look within, for each and every one of you carries the codes that give you the ability to tap into, to talk to you, the future you that is here now, that is present within you. For within the DNA and the molecular structure of the human are the codes and the templates, if you will, the platelets, the ability to tune into as antennae, if you will, with intention, with intentional focus, your future antennae. And while you may not look the same in the future necessarily, you may not necessarily speak the same languages or tones in the future, you are able to access those versions of you now. And we would also invite you to play with this. For what is it that you would like to see staring back at you from the past, from the future? So I'm being shown this, like, that time is, I'm hearing, I'm seeing that spatial reference again. Not spatial relativity. So funny. Basically, I'm seeing like this time loop, but it's not over and over again. It's this pattern that we're able to look like through a coil, and you can see all the other coils, and they're all connected to the past and the future. So we're able to tune into that now. And what I'm being shown is using it as a resource and seeing it as a we're able to see it more with heightened clarity and acuity is what I'm hearing. And why not tap into it now? Why not tap into the sweetness of the tree that allows the energy to flow through it as a resource? For you are connected through that tree of life that many have spoken before is you. You have an innate and I'm hearing fountain of youth resource within you that when applied is perfection. Yet it is already perfection, even if it hasn't been implied. Play on words, implied, applied. I'm hearing applied cosmology, cosmological references, applied mathematics. Okay. So many of you are just scraping the surface, and many of you feel as if you are falling again and again, scraping your knees. And many of you are feeling as if you are scraping along, seeing knuckle draggers, like knuckle draggers, not sure where to go, or feeling like other people are doing that. We all are different, and we all hold different contracts, if you will, but we would prefer to call those contrasts rather than contracts. For many of you are holding on to isolated agreements and vows that were made in the time before now that are not necessarily needing to be rehashed. All right, so I'm seeing a reference to a hashtag, and I'm also seeing a reference to that a lot of these contracts have already been completed. And so we are holding on to stories about this because that's what we've been taught. And what they're showing me is they're showing me tearing up contracts. Like, we're done. Throw it out. Be gone. Away with you. And then I'm hearing that song, Come Away With Me. Who sings that? Can't think of her name. I can hear the song. She's got a beautiful voice. Come Away With Me. You guys know who it is. All right, so I'm being called to play with that just for a second. Ooh, that's a beautiful song. It's Nora Jones, so I just had to look it up. But kind of this idea of falling in love, singing, being in the grass, right? Really enjoying that, the senses. She talks about rain on a tin roof. It's just having that, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. It's having feeling all those senses come alive. And of course, I'm being shown Frankenstein. It's alive, but referencing that this is our vessel. And what I'm hearing is as our passages open inside of our framework, we start to access more templates. So they're showing me applications, like when you have an app on your phone and you open that app, it's like on your phone, which is your vessel, it's a separate program that you install and you upload, and it gives you access to all kinds of different things. We have that inside of us, right? We are the technology. But what's happening is a lot of people are in the habit of and the programming that we aren't capable. I'm hearing it's prepackaged. It's pre-programmed. And the irony is it's keeping us from opening up the packages that are already inside of us. So many people are trying to purchase more. They're trying to add more applications when the applications are already inside of us. But having these experiences in life, okay, having these interactions with each other is what opens up the applications. So it's having those ahas. It's having that breathtaking moment, that moment that takes your breath away, that puts you in a place of understanding and a better place of what I'm hearing is organization. Oh, I'm hearing the word organite. So there's play on words here. I'm dropping into multidimensional frameworks right now, so I have to kind of stay linear. And so there are many tracks, if you will, to our moving pictures. There are many tracks that we can open up and have access to that take us on different tracks, different directions, and sing different songs to us. They all come with a different potency. Sometimes we will hear a song and it will make us cry, and other times it will make us laugh. And those are all potencies. They are potions, if you will. They give us, I'm hearing love potion number 9. They give us the ability to associate and to connect with each other. And they also give us the ability to seamlessly interact with our mother nature, our true inner nature, our ability to feel into the nurturing nature that is our original template of source, that is the divine love that came from the divine womb that we came from. And we must feel in order to extract those feelings, that nectar, if you will. I'm seeing reference to the tree and the maple tree, maple syrup. And that energy, and this is a reference to the CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid, the Kundalini energy that moves through and courses the body, that opens I'm hearing liquefies the pineal calcification, and opens up all of, I'm seeing gas stations, like the calcification gas stations, right? The fuel that helps restore our senses. So there is something happening within the human body and within the human template. You know, a lot of us in the spiritual community have heard about the awakening, right? I'm hearing the awakening starlight, those that have slumbered. And so we're here. A lot of people are talking about, when is everybody going to wake up? When is everybody going to wake up? And we're missing the fact that there's things that are awakening within our own body, within our own structure, that we're overlooking because we're not taking the time to tune into our vessel. And I'm just hearing the one track mind. It's like this, the mind is keeping us locked into these patterns. And so when we can combine all of our resources, the guides have talked about over and over again, which is essentially our physicality, right? We're not meant to just be meditating all the time. We're meant to bring whatever it is that we learn from those meditations into our physical form, into our everyday activities, into our life, so that we can actively contribute to life, our life, so we can expand and grow and become more conscious beings, if you will. And what I'm being shown is, you know, it's the heart, it's the mind, it's the breathing, it's the sensations that we feel in our body. It's the combination of all of those things. And this is what brings us into alignment with our clairaudience, our clairvoyance, our clairsentience, our feeling and expressing and all of this. And what I'm being shown is this, when we start to really tune into that, that's what's going to launch us into our next phase of development. And so as we interact, there will be many who are still operating on the old soapbox. They're still processing and integrating their own understanding of this reality. And we would invite you to open to your own understanding of reality, one that requires a bit more maturity and aging in the process, if you will. Meaning, okay, I'm being shown wine in a barrel and how all of these flavors and ingredients come up with the aging process. So it's almost like, boy, that could go into so many different directions. We're being called to explore the fountain of youth, which is inside each and every one of us, from a mature interpretation, one might say. And how can we connect in a mature way when those who are leading the way tend to be leading from their mind only, the one track mind, from their immaturity, their inability to fully engage the way which we would all like to engage respectfully. So it's a kind of a play on words, right? Like a lot of us would like to see respect, to feel respect, to be respected, and to be respectful. And it's not doing it from a place of bowing down to anything. It's honoring the human in their journey, honoring the animals, honoring the land. And I'm hearing the land of our birth, right? Like, what's that song I'm hearing? This land is my land, this land is your land. Like, this is also earth. So we are being called to honor all that is rather than all we think it is. And so the old ways are making way for the new way, if you will. Yet the new way is the old way. Beyond that which we have been taught, it is the ancient of ways. It is the beginning and the end. It is that center. I'm hearing centripetal force, that center petal where the petals flow from, that branch out of. So we would invite you to, rather than pedaling to keep up, we would invite you to go within again and again and tap into your own resource. Check in. How do I feel? How do I feel watching what I'm watching? Why would I continue to torture myself from one perspective if it no longer is something that fills up my cup, if you will? The cup that runneth over. We are being called to refill our chalice so that we can harness the energy traveling through the crystal palace. So I'm being shown the brain and the bones and the crystal energy. So a lot of people are experiencing headaches, experiencing anxiety, experiencing a sense of urgency, and yet they can't quite get the ball moving. That's okay. That's part of the process sometimes. That's when we're being called to move, maybe do some more exercise and activity. But while we're doing that exercise and activity, let's be conscious of it, is what I'm hearing. Not necessarily watching TV or the news while we're doing our, jogging. Maybe listen to something that we find stimulating in a positive way rather than overstimulating in a one-track way. Remember, there are many tracks that are playing all at the same time, and they are creating distraction. So I'm hearing track, distract. They are pulling us off of our own course and putting us onto the Concorde, if you will. That is the people mover, the moving through the airport from one location to another, but still within the same airport. So I'm hearing never lifting off, if you will. We would invite you to prepare for liftoff. And the only way we can really prepare is by doing the work. And the work requires us to focus inward. It requires us to feel what we're feeling and to respond accordingly, not in accordance with that which we are being told, but in accordance with the true dance, the sacred dance. I always, whenever I say dance, I hear dance, magic dance. Another labyrinth reference. We're being called to find that inner sound, the frequency, the sound. I'm seeing cymatics. Again, if you haven't ever looked up cymatics, CYMATICS, to find our inner song and to truly allow the dance to begin with ourselves, to allow the magic to move through us. For we are receiving, if you will, if we are open, and even sometimes when we are not, we are receiving many signals. And so what signals are we remaining open to? And what signals are rubbing us the wrong way? I'm seeing people feeling raw, like I'm seeing a big tower, from that's basically sending out signals, and we're overwhelmed by it. But people are still hanging out by that tower because they're addicted to it, but also because it's a safety thing, because we feel like we know. If we watch the same thing over and over again, it feels familiar. We would invite everyone to step out of your comfort zone. Try something different. that stimulates your inner sense of self-worth, not from an ego standpoint necessarily, but to stand in center and wholeness through the heart, through the mind, through the body, through the intellect, through the dialect, through all of it. Recognize that you are the strings held on an instrument. You are the strings and the instrument. You are that which is being held. And as you begin to tune into all of that, you allow yourself to birth the future that is already been, if you will. And so we would invite you also to look back at where you have been. Bean. Sorry, I'm saying Mr. Bean. With a sense of humor, people, right? My guides are like, lighten up. Allow yourself to feel restored, renewed, and rebirthed. And this is a difficult time for many people to feel those things. Yet we would invite you to recognize that you are feeling those things, whether you admit them or not. And it becomes a matter of opening to the sensitivities that allow you to recognize that you are feeling those things. So it's like a muscle, right? If you haven't worked out in a while and you work out and you're like, wow, I'm sore from working out and I didn't even know I have muscles I didn't know existed. It's the same thing. And so what happened is we've worked out the same muscles that we aren't recognizing those other muscles exist. And this has to do with our senses. It has to do with our ability to actually see our future and work towards that versus working towards the future that has been painted on the green screen. I had a reference the other day to Wizard of Oz, right? So I heard like Judy Garland, Ruby Slippers, like again, clicking those heels together, making our wishes, right? Moving up and moving through this chute, CHUTE, let's, the portal, the energy that we're all, again, we are the portals. So this goes back to the mitochondria and the cells that are being ignited, the DNA, and I'm hearing the quantum technology that we are all encapsulated within. And so this is just a pick-me-up speech, if you will. This is just the frequencies that have the ability to see the future speaking through this particular way, in this particular way, that allow the frequencies to be felt when they are spoken, to be felt when they are visualized, to be felt when we open to them. Each of us has this ability. It will look different for each and every unique individual. For within this individuality comes the ability to create the future in a unique and expressive way. We would invite you to find your own expressions of uniqueness that come from the heart, that come from the mind, that come from the ability to combine all of these things. We would invite you to find yourself again and again, tuning back in again and again to this beautiful template, the temple, the crystal palace that is held within the chalice, that is held within the wellspring, that is welling up from within, that is springing us forward into the beginning, the begin again of the future now. And so take a moment. Take a moment to feel into the water inside the body. Take a moment to feel into the memory and the complexity that is encapsulated within the skin, within the body, the ship, the vessel. Feel into all of the vessels that are held within the mitochondria, the cells, the bones, the blood, which is in essence water, the fuel that is inside this fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid that is in essence water. And we invite you to feel that moving through your own space. We invite you to feel into the quantum that is interlaced inside and through this template, this body. I'm seeing the ether, the oxygen, the hydrogen, like all of these elements that we can't see, but we're the carbon, right? We're breathing it in, we're breathing it out. It's part of us. And again, when we start to do that, it makes you feel centered, and it makes you feel part of something bigger than just a thought, part of something bigger than just a body. It makes you feel in relationship to all things. It creates the ability to, again, to navigate your ship in relations with all things. It creates an ability to interact and create and establish a relationship with the body and the energy that is part of this restoration process, part of this, obviously, I'm hearing sequency of energy dynamics that allows us to create the template for our higher conjunctions with, guys, I just wanted to point nodular applications that are, okay, I'm going to have to do some writing later, clearly. But there's these nodes and components that we're lining up with. It's basically, I'm seeing like little nodules. Okay, I'm being called to draw it just really briefly. But when you're feeling into this, just feel the opening occurring in the body. And we do this by being still. We do this by feeling the interaction with our counterparts, with our fellow humans, with nature, right? So there's a lot of different ways of what I'm hearing is to remind everybody it looks different for everyone. For some people, it's sweating and getting exercise and detoxing. For other people, it's going swimming. For other people, it's really getting grounded and feeling feet on the ground. And for some people, it's working with their hands. And for other people, it's imagination and using that as a template. But whatever we're doing, utilizing that to create, to make, to be in action. And we can do this through, it's that subtlety of finding that balance between action and non-action, verbalization and listening, nonverbal. It's all of those things, because we're creating reality. So I was shown, I'll have to play with this in a later video, but I'm being shown liposomes that are like little lipids or something on a line like this. And I'm seeing them like separating from the membrane for whatever reason and kind of floating off, almost like, and I'm being shown it's like a ship, like in space, when if you've seen space movies where they go out into space and explore space or whatever. But I'll have to dive into that in a little bit different of a video. But the purpose of this video is just to get everybody to kind of tune into your bodies, tune into the body of reality, the body of Earth, and recognize that everything is a bubble within a bubble within a bubble. And so we're all interacting in a very quantum way. And the more mature we can be about this, and there's definitely a play on words about maturity. It's not about us being serious. It's about us growing up while maintaining and keeping our innate structure of love and playfulness and curiosity a part of our nature, and utilizing that in a mature way. So, it's not like we're going to go out, run around and tickle everybody and laugh about it. That's inappropriate, but we can still be tickled by laughter and help someone else by not laughing at them, but by laughing with them. And just, there's something very important about this, because I'm just hearing things are about to heat up again. And I say that with love, because it's not meant to be felt as in fear. And also I'm being called to say one more thing, and I'm going to end on this note before I go into maybe a little flow about the liposomes, if they want to show me more. I'm hearing, do you want to know more? Of course I do. Again, that's me just being curious. What I'm being shown is that remember, we're creating our future. So if we're listening to everyone telling us that the future is going to be crazy and this is going to happen in 2033 and this is going to happen in 2027 and this is going to happen in whatever the year is, right? There's these big events. Yes, people that are psychic and have their clairs on can see these things. I can see these things. I've written about all kinds of things that are happening now. I wrote about it 4 or 5 years ago. I did not share them all with the collective because it would not necessarily have benefited anybody. And you know, it also stuff I still don't quite understand. I still post stuff I don't quite understand because somebody out there might. My point is, though, that a lot of people are opening up to their intuition, their psychic abilities, their ability to see different timelines and different realities. And everybody's going to have their own view because they're viewing it from a different angle, a different perspective, a different life experience, a different guide, a different source of where they're getting their information, how they're interpreting their information. So if we're continually focusing, even in the spiritual community, on what's going to look like in a year, it's going to be tribulation and crazy, and I'm just trying to prepare you. That's great if we are feeling prepared. But if we're listening to that and feeling stressed, we might want to take a break from listening to that. Not everyone is necessarily meant to talk about the future because not everyone is necessarily sharing about the future from a neutral perspective, or they're interpreting it from a place of fear. And that message is going to be even more enhanced potentially in a fearful way. And whoever's listening to these messages, how you feel when you're listening to these, oh, I'm being shown. We also have to learn discernment, but some people are thinking that they're using discernment because they're like, oh, that doesn't feel good. They're not right. Or that doesn't feel good because that is scary. Or I feel like this person is. We're basing our discernment sometimes on our own egos. We're basing our discernment on our own interpretation of someone else because of our own hangups, is what I'm hearing. And what I'm being shown is hanging up the phone, like not willing to really hear the full conversation. So recognizing these things is important. That's part of the journey, is saying, okay, I was actually interpreting this message because I was in a place of fear. Doesn't necessarily mean the person is wrong, but it also doesn't mean that they're right. And that brings me into the real discernment. Somebody might be right, yet that doesn't mean that future is necessarily going to happen. At this stage, it is a probability, but we as a collective of frequency, energy, and creative beings are changing probabilities all of the time within the operating system that we have access to. We are starting to have access to, or we already do, but a lot of us are starting to access outside of time, multidimensionality. And through this enhanced awareness, we then become more, we hold a higher capacity for enhancing our reality in a different structure. So if we're basing our future interpretations on the structure that we know, we're not necessarily going to be accurately divinations. Does that make sense? I know that's confusing. All of this can be very confusing, especially if you're new to this, and multidimensionality is confusing. So I'm just saying, let's cut some slack for some of these future predictors, and let's not put all of our eggs in one basket, no matter who's sharing the message, whether it's myself or some other spiritual person in the community that happens to have their clairvoyance on. We have to use our discernment to see if that fits our reality that we want to create. If we start to feel fearful about something, it's helpful sometimes because we can use that fear to kind of dissect and rearrange why we're feeling that way. How can we approach this from a neutral perspective? How can I shift my reality so much that that reality doesn't affect me from another perspective? So sometimes it's good to have that knowledge and knowingness. What are we doing about it? Right? And are we running away from it? Or are we so tuned into these predictions that, again, even the good people who have a good intentions can sometimes pull people off track. That's not them that's pulling us off track. It's us allowing that to happen. So again, that's our reaction, our response to it. So I'm really being called for us to find our own voice. And also, when we first open up these senses, recognizing that this discernment is based on our interpretation. So my interpretation, if I'm, for example, giving someone a reading, I might be interpreting it. I like to share what I'm seeing because my interpretation might be slightly different than how the client interprets it. And that's okay. Sometimes having both of those gives us our ability to feel into discernment and discern the truth for ourselves. Because I know there's basic truths, but as we grow and expand into this reality, some of those truths, not all of them, oxygen is oxygen, but how we utilize it might shift. What it can be used for might shift. What it can be combined with to create this might shift. These building blocks might be different than we thought they were. They interact different because we're in a different reality. So I'm going quantum there, but anyways, I just wanted to share that. So just being open and allowing and being playful rather than just putting all of our eggs in one basket is so important right now from what the guides are sharing. So that's the message. I'm going to dive in and see what they've got to share about this other stuff later down the road, and I'll share it with you guys. In love and light, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.